Hello friends, welcome to I for Education. In the last few days, we have been discussing the questions from NTA NET examinations which NTA has conducted in the months of September, October and November in the last year. We know that NTA has conducted the examination in different subjects and each and every subjects there were paper 1 questions. All paper 1 questions were different from one subject to another subject, and so far we have discussed the paper 1 questions from different topics. We have discussed the questions from higher education, we have discussed the questions from research aptitude, we have discussed the questions from logical reasoning, mathematical reasoning, reading and comprehension, communication, people and environment. And today we are going to discuss the questions from the topic of communication. All these questions NTA were asked in the months of September, October and November in the last year. So we can move to the first question and you can comment your answer, and if you want more time to do the answer you can pause the video and you can think about it and later you can comment your answer. So friends, let's move to the first one. This is the question. We have given two statements, statement 1 and statement 2, and among these two statements we have given 4 options and we have to be selected the right option from the given options. So we have to read the statements. The statement 1 says the content and style of communication are the predictor variables of effective teaching, and statement 2 says a good and communicative teacher evokes relatively less questions from the students. In the light of above statements, choose the correct answer from the options given below. And option A says both statement 1 and statement 2 are true. And option B says both statement 1 and statement 2 are false. Option C says statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is false. And the last option, option D says statement 1 is incorrect but statement 2 is true. So you can comment your answer. We are going to check the answer. So in this question, we know that the option C is the right answer. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect or statement 2 is false. Then we want to know that why the statement 1 become correct and why the statement 2 become false. We need to understand that. So when we analyze the statement 1, we can understand that it is true because the content and the style of communication are the predictor variables. Here the key terms predictor variable. So in order to do the answer of this question, we should have a thorough knowledge with respect to predictor variable. What is predictor variable? What is the impact of predictor variable? Then only we can do the answer of this question. So here the content and style of communication are the predictor variables of effective teaching. So in order to ensure the effective teaching, we know that the content and style of communication are very important. So in this question, we should understand that predictor variable means independent variable. Predictor variables are independent variable. In this situation, students are the dependent variable. Students are the dependent variable, and the content and communication style are the predictor variable or independent variable. We know that the independent variable or predictor variable means we can manipulate that, we can change according to the situation and according to the circumstances. So here for effective teaching, because you know that students are the dependent variable, so to ensure to enhance effective teaching, we cannot manipulate the students, we cannot change the students, but we can manipulate, we can change that content and style of communication in order to enhance that effective teaching. So the statement 1 is right. And when it comes to the statement 2, a good and communicative teacher evokes relatively less questions from the students. So here the key term is the less questions. So here there will be confusion because a good and communicative teacher evokes relatively questions from the students. That is right. If it is relatively questions from the students will be right, but here there is a word that is less. So a good and communicative teacher does not evoke relatively less questions, because the questions from the we should enhance the priority, or we should give importance to students to ask the questions. We should promote the habits of asking questions from students. The number of questions increasing, when the students asking more number of questions, they can understand more things. So students has to increase to asking the number of questions, and if they're asking more number of questions, there will be more discussions, there will be more debates, there will be feedbacks, and there will be replies, and through these kinds of discussions students can enhance their understanding. So the statement 2 is wrong and the statement 1 is right. So the option C is the right answer. I hope you have understood this question. We can move to the next one. So the announcement of arrival and departure of trains at railway station is it is related to special communication, or is this the example of organizational communication, or it is the example of public communication, or is it the example of sectional communication? So we need to understand that. You can comment your answer. If you want more time to think, you can pause this video and later you can comment your answer. So friends, we are moving to check the answer. So the answer is public communication. So it is an easy question. We can do the answer this question in very limited time. So here the announcement of arrival and departure of train at railway station. So we know that, well, are we all suppose we can say that we traveled through train many times, and we went railway stations, and we were waiting for the trains though. So that time we heard that the announcement. So when we stand or when we reach the railway station, we can hear the announcement with respect to arrival and departure of the trains. So many times we heard that announcement, like that gadi number 1 2 3 4, and in Hindi or in English or in Malayalam as well, we heard many announcement at the railway station related to the departure and the arrival of the train. So it is an example of public communication, because there are many people, there are many kinds of people, and it is a public space, and this communication or this announcement to the not a specific person, it is a communication, it is a public communication. So the people who are there in the railway station, they can get that information related to the arrival and the departure of the train, and where from the train come, and where the train goes, to where train goes, and from where the train comes. Like the information we will get at the railway station through the announcement. So we can say that this is a part of public communication, and radio and television and mass media, all the other things are the another examples of public communication. So we can so the answer is option C, public communication. So we can move to the next one. For ensuring effective administration, which of the following is most difficult? So here it is related to that effective administration, which of the following is most difficult? And like the option A says changing the knowledge of individual and groups, and option B says changing the skill of individual and groups, and option C says changing the attitude of individuals and groups, and option D says changing the behavior of individual and groups. You can comment your answer. So the answer is changing the behavior of individual and groups for ensuring effective communication, and here the key term is most difficult. So in this question we have to understand thoroughly For ensuring effective administration, which of the following is most difficult? Among these four options, changing the knowledge of individual and groups, changing the skill of individual and groups, changing the attitude of individual and groups, changing the behavior of individual and groups. Out of these four kinds of changing with respect to individual and groups, which one is the most difficult one? Which one is the highest difficult one? We need to understand that. So when we check one by one, we can say that changing the behavior of individual and groups is the most difficult one. Changing the knowledge of individuals and groups, we know that changing the knowledge of individual and groups will be very easier, because when we give the informations, when we give seminars or conference or theses or reports or journals, or like in anywhere, when we give information to the individual and groups, we can change their knowledge. And changing the skill, it is when for changing the skills of individual and groups, we can do that through workshops. Through workshops, we can impart skills to the individuals and groups. It is also an easy way. And changing the attitude of individual and groups, it is also, we can change the attitude of individual and groups. But when it comes to the changing the behavior of individual and groups, it will be most difficult one, because changing the behavior with respect to their long life experiences, their long like experiments, their it is respected to an individual's experiences, their knowledge, their attitude, their skills, everything is related to the behavior. So changing the behavior of individuals and groups are most difficult one among these four kinds of options. So the answer is option D. And another question, find out the correct sequence of the following transmissions. And we have given 5 model of transmissions: narrowcasting, telegraph, broadcasting, telephone, and podcasting. Among these 4 kinds of transmission, we need to find out the correct sequence. We need to find out the correct sequence, which means among these 5 model of transmissions, which come first, or which one has introduced in first, and which one is introduced in second, and the last which one was introduced in last. So the correct sequence, we need to find out that correct sequence or that correct order, like among these following transmissions, which one has introduced first to the world. We need to understand that. So we can check the answer. So the answer is option B. B, D, C, A, E is the correct answer. So telegraph has introduced at the first, and second, telephone was introduced after introducing the telegraph, that telephone has introduced, and the third one, after introducing the telephone, that broadcasting has introduced, and later that narrowcasting was introduced, and finally podcasting has introduced to this world. So when we analyze that sequence of these 5 transmissions, we know that the first, telegraph has come to the world as first in 1930s. Telegraphs has introduced. Then we know that telephone in 1976, telephone has 1813, and 1876 telephone has introduced, and that third one, broadcast, has introduced in 1922, and narrowcasting has introduced at 1940s, and podcasting has introduced in 2003. So we can understand that that's correct sequence of following transmissions is first the telegraph has introduced, later telephone has introduced, then broadcasting has come to this world. Then after broadcasting, then narrowcasting has come out, and later at last podcasting has come out to this world. So the answer is option B is the right answer. And the another question which NTA has asked in the last year: factors that contribute for effective classroom communication are. Factors that contribute effective classroom communication are, and we have given 5 factors like informal overload, use of unfamiliar words, balanced flow of words, circular flow of messages, mechanism to access the feedbacks. Out of these 5 factors, which are the related to effective classroom communication, which are leads to effective classroom communication, we need to find out that. And we have given 4 options: option A 2 and 3 only, option B 1 4 and 5 only, option C 2 3 and 4 only, and option D 3 4 and 5 only. You can comment your answer. So the answer is option D is the right answer. 3 4 and 5 will contribute for effective classroom communication. So with respect to effective classroom communication, or with respect to classroom communication, we have discussed many questions so far, and we said it, there will be number of questions with respect to effective classroom communication. The factors which leads to effective classroom communication, the questions related to the factors which leads to or which helps to effective classroom communication, we have find out number of questions, and we can expect number of questions from coming examinations as well. So we should study thoroughly in this topic regarding the topic with respect to effective classroom communication, topic with respect to factors which are affecting effective classroom communication. We should study very thoroughly. We can expect number of questions from this topic. So in this question, when we analyze the factors which we have given one by one, we can understand that information overload, so it will not be helps to effective classroom communication. When the information overload, students cannot store that information, students cannot remember that information. So we should avoid information overload in the classroom. And use of unfamiliar words, actually the fundamental, we can say that the fundamental function of communication is to impart the ideas to the audience. So it is very important, students should get that idea which the sender has sending, or that when comes to the classroom communication, the teacher, that communication, that ideas, that content with which teacher says, students should understand that. But when a teacher using that unfamiliar words, when the teacher or that sender using that unfamiliar words, the students or the audience cannot get that meaning, what exactly the teacher has taught. So we should avoid that unfamiliar words. We should use familiar words to enhance that communication in the classroom. Then only both teacher and students can understand. And regarding to the third one, balanced flow of words, there should be balanced flow of words. It should not be like the teacher should use a high pitch of volume and low pitch of volume as well, and there should be a balanced flow of words. There should not be static flow of words, and there should not be high flow of words, and there should not be low flow of words, but there should be a balanced flow of words. And when it comes to the circular flow of message, it is very important. Circular flow of words or circular flow of message is very important, because when there is circular flow of message, there will be feedbacks, there will be replies so the teacher and students both can understand the content which a teacher has discussed in the classroom. So it is very important. And mechanism to assess the feedback. So we said that feedback is also very important thing in the classroom communication. That a teacher can understand whether the students get the content which teacher has said in the classroom through feedback only. When a students gives feedbacks, so teacher can understand that students get the information or not. When a students when the students when the students don't give feedbacks to the teacher, a teacher cannot understand whether the students get the information or not get the information. Teacher couldn't understand, but through feedback a teacher can understand with which the session was effective or not. A teacher can understand through the feedback. So the option D is the right answer. Balanced flow of words, circular flow of message, mechanism to access the feedback are contribute for effective classroom communication. So these are the questions we have discussed today. We will be discussing number of questions from coming days. Thank you.